Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of Visibility Made Easy. Now, it's quite funny because, as always, I've planned what I want to talk about in these Visibility Made Easies. And these are really for those of you who want to let people know more about what you do in a way that feels comfortable and a way that feels engaging, but also without feeling like you're being really pushy and in people's faces. So if you, like many of the gorgeous vibers who watch these and gorgeous strangers, I have people from all over the world, New Zealand, America, Hong Kong, all over Europe that send me little sneaky messages and say hi, just to let you know that, I really got a lot from this. So thank you so much for all of you that either publicly send your love or privately send your love. So there's a couple of things that you can do. You can hop on and watch, and I'm happy for you to watch, but I'd also love it for you to ask me questions, especially specific questions. I need to warm the cockles of my soul because I think I have just fallen out with my friends. Right here on Facebook, I posted lovely pictures of sun in Barbados. I got a bit bored of seeing snow and the snow that we've got here in London. And now I think they've fallen out with me. They think that I am, over sunning myself. Although, to be fair, I did tell them that I'm here. So if you're one of those people that's seen those and going to bury me in the snow or throwing daggers, I am well and truly here in the UK. So to make up for it, I will have some lovely Caribbean food straight after this live. And I will hopefully warm the cockles of your soul too. So already a few of you have jumped on. So I just wanted to say hi back to you guys who have joined on already. So we have the lovely Namisha Brambat who is watching. Hi. She says, hi Jenny, and I'm saying hi back. We've got Lisa Pascoe. She says, evening, with a smiley face. So evening back with an equally smiley face, I hope. And Lisa's saying, I have to say, the rebel in me wanted to post pictures of sunshine too. Well, do it. Like, there's enough snow outside of my window for me not to see even more snow from all over the UK. So go for it. Let's start a rebellion. Let's start a movement. And Amisha's saying she wouldn't expect anything less from Jenny and Lisa. And Buzz says, what are you cooking? Buzz, I'm ordering it in. I'm just whipping up a little Caribbean dish, No, I'm ordering it in. I think I'm going to go for something jerky or something curried. Not quite sure yet, and definitely having plantain, as I say in my posh British accent. So anyway, let me get straight into this Visibility Made Easy. And if you find anything that I say slightly useful, very useful, significantly useful, not just to you but for your communities or for your friends, please share this with them, because even though I have my jovial way of delivering these Facebook Lives, the message underneath is really important and I say serious, but not in a horrible way. So there's two things I'm going to cover tonight. The first thing I'm going to cover is something that the soon-to-be Mrs. Princess Harry said. Our lovely American Merkel, go to say her name. Do you know what? I never know how to pronounce her surname, but I do watch Suits and I see her in there, so I could call her by a stage name. But Meghan Merkel, I think, is her name. If I've just got that completely wrong, please somebody correct me because I will be mortified. But I heard her say something yesterday, and let me give you some context as why this is important for all of us. So she will soon be, once she's married, she'll soon be a patron of a charity that the Duchess of, well, let's just say Kate, Kate and William and Harry, the three of them are part of this, this charity, and she will be the fourth patron or patron. And she was invited to London yesterday to sit with the other three and basically kind of be part of, she's getting ready and warmed up to be part of this charity. And I love Meghan so much because I think a lot of people assume that she's quiet and shy and retiring. And, in order to sort of, marry into the royal family and all of the, challenges that would likely come with that, you've got to be able to hold your own and know yourself. And she seems to be a really grounded woman. And I think Princess Diana will be looking on and being very, very happy with Harry's choice as well. But there was something that she said that really, you know, when somebody says something and it sparks something in you, it really resonates on such a deep level. It's like you can't stop hearing it and you see it and everything else. And she was talking about women and their voices. And she said, you know, something like, I'm paraphrasing, women haven't lost their voices. You know, they haven't lost their voices. And the reason why that sparked out at me, it reminds me of what I do. You know, I was very recently asked, and I'm always asked by people, why do you do this? Why do you share visibility? Why do you talk about this? What's it about? And I forgive people because often there's a misconception that for me to be visible, I need to be a show off. I need to be really loud. I need to trash other people whose opinions I don't agree with. And that's not visibility at all. The reason why I do it isn't even so that you can own your voice. The reason why I do it isn't so that you can be some sort of big celebrity if that's not what you want to be. In fact, many of my clients are introverts. The reason why I bang the drum of visibility for both men and women is because your voice matters. Your voice matters. And I want to show you different ways to own your voice. So whether you do that on video, whether you do it in a live audience, you know, whether you do it to a group of 2, whether you do it in a classroom, whether you do it in a training room, whether you do it as a consultant, whether you do it as a coach, whether you do it one-to-one privately, whether you do it behind closed doors or on stages or anywhere else like that, you being able to own your voice is what gets me out of bed in the morning. So let me talk a little bit about what that means for you. When you own your voice and you own your message, you don't worry about the things that other people worry about, because it's like a driver. It's like one of those things or one of those reasons that you can't not do it. Hey, Faye, I'm saying hi to Faye. It's like somebody challenges what you believe in, and, you know, all of a sudden you find that you can rant, you can respond, you don't need a script, you don't need to be guided or anything else like that. It's so important for us all to own our voices, not own them to shout over other people, not own them to trash other people. And, you know, to me, in visibility, or I should say that more slowly, to me, with visibility, there's a fine line between celebrating our successes and actually putting the spotlight just on ourselves for our ego's sake. And the reason that I say that is because it doesn't serve anyone. There are 1,001 things that I could share online, you know, offline, with my audience, with my clients, with anybody who's watching. And social media is very famous for this. I can choose what I share on a daily basis, but I choose to share something that resonates with me, that resonates with the audience, that I'm aligned to, and that I know will benefit you. Benefit them, benefit you. And this is what it really means to own your voice. So just to ask a really quick question, does anyone else that's are you watching this and resonating with what I'm saying? Because for each and every one of you, and for you right now, there will be something that could really make you rant, something that you believe in, something that you really stand for, something that other people will tell you is a pipe dream or is wrong or isn't the way we do things around here. And you can stand for it. And that's whether you're a business owner, that's whether you work for somebody in a business. You know, I spent many years working in financial services, and before that, the hospitality, retail and travel sector. And there were things that I would see, things that I would hear, things that I would know that I needed to speak up about, whether it was in a boardroom, whether it was in a team meeting, whether it was my own team. And this wasn't about making somebody look small, making somebody look insignificant. This was about coming from a place of being really truthful with yourself. And that's why I love Megan so much, because she really, to me, really works as an ambassador for people to own their voice. So if there is something that you really believe to be true, say it. Whether you record it on camera, whether you say it to a live room, whether you say it to one other person. So Tessa's on. Hi, Tessa. Fayes says, I believe men should wear makeup if they want to. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, it's interesting because there'll be reasons that people will go yes, or people that will go no, will say no. But here's the thing. When there's something that you believe in and you stand for it and you speak to it, the people who hear it, a bit like Meghan's message this morning, they will hear it so clearly, so sharply, and they will gravitate to it. So there's a couple of different things. I'm going to share a couple of tips for you and another resource for you. So this might be a pen and paper moment, or if you click the little arrow at the top of this video, you can come back to it and re-watch it again, or send it to yourself as a message, or anything else like that. So let me take Fayes' example. Faye believes that men should wear makeup if they want to. Now, there'll be a reason that she thinks that. There'll be a reason underneath that. And when she keeps going down and digging the layers, she will get to why it's important. And it will likely have nothing to do with Faye herself. It will have everything to do with that other person. And there are so many things we get told in life, you know, we're not enough, we're not good enough. And it normally boils down to that level. So, like, I'd love to see, you know, so many people come back and read it. I'd love to see some of your comments in the box below. Like, what do you believe in? Why is it so important to you? And there'll be a reason that you're the person sharing that message and not somebody else. So, you know, there are lots of people that have popped up over the years as visibility specialists, but what they believe in and what they believe to be true for other people will be completely different to what I believe in and what I believe to be true for other people. If that makes sense. Hey Diane, thanks for jumping on. So I can see a few comments there. I want to just go back and read them. Don't worry if you've jumped on late, because you can go back and watch the beginning. Faye says freedom of expression and challenging the stereotypes. Absolutely. So Faye, let's play a little game. Why is freedom of expression important for somebody? Why is challenging the stereotypes important for somebody? What does it give them? I know I've just fired a load of questions there, but you'll start to see this kind of playing out in action. And each and every one of you, you won't even just have one, you'll have many different values. Tessa says, yes, but people get to remember sometimes certain people arena ready to hear it, accept it yet. I totally get that. And here's the thing, when you own your voice and talk about what's important to you, what's dear, or anything else like that, don't come at it from a place of trying to persuade somebody that they're wrong and you're right. In fact, don't come at it from a place of persuasion at all. When you stick within your absolute truth, it won't matter what anybody else thinks, what they say, what they feel, or anything else like that. So if you find that when you're speaking to people about certain subjects or specific subjects and they are pushing back, there's a piece within us where we are accidentally or inadvertently judging somebody else. And we're judging whether we think that they're right or wrong. They feel it, they shut down. It's really as simple as that. So this is why it's so important to come from a place of truth. And the thing about the platform, while you might argue that Meghan has got the platform to speak, why would she be so passionate about these particular things? I would suggest that there are things or barriers that she's had to overcome in her own life before, which is why she's so passionate about it. I'm a real fan of, I call it this way, I call it a fan of the underdog. I love it when somebody comes from nowhere and rises and makes a real difference in people's lives. I love it when people are unknown. I think that's another reason why I do what I do. When somebody is unknown and then they become known for the thing that they're doing, and helping them to voice that, helping them to position that, helping them to articulate that is why I get out of bed in the morning. So just in case you are either already a speaker, thinking of becoming a speaker, thinking of just sharing your message verbally, eyeball to eyeball, face to face, if you scroll down this timeline, you'll see that on Tuesday, which was 2 days ago, I actually shared a resource from a lady called Lisa, who has been a mentor of mine, somebody whose work I absolutely adore, somebody whose work that it doesn't matter how many times you go back and look at it, you always see something new, something different. I've experienced her work and I trust her work so implicitly that I have absolutely no issue with sharing it with anybody, even here on this public page. Now, she's got a free resource, and this is like an annual launch that she does of a particular piece to help people speak. But what she shared in her first video was just really groundbreaking about how you can position yourself to speak, even if you're just getting started. But she also gives you a guide which helps you with over 100 different places to speak, so you can start to get your message out as quickly as within the next few days and within the next few weeks. You know, no budget, no big marketing team or anything else like that. So if you haven't already seen that, either in the Vibes Tribe's visibility group or further down on this page, jump on it. You know, run, don't walk. And she's got a free three-part video series that she's sharing too. So that's one way to help. Now, another way is that I've recently been speaking to a really lovely lady who has been putting a pitch over. This is a public page, so I'm not going to go and kind of spill her details. But she's been putting a pitch together to speak publicly. But in order to put the pitch together, it can be quite quite usual. And also, actually, a lot of corporates are using this now, where they'll ask you to send in a video. I have lost count of how many really prolific, really great public speakers come to me and say, I need to get something out on video. I can speak to thousands of people in a room, but put a camera in front of me. So I'm going to share 3 tips based on the video that they'd sent and asked for feedback on. I'm going to share 3 really great tips. So if you want to do this online, whether it's a webinar, whether it's a Facebook Live, whether it's a video, that will really help you to be able to own your voice without getting into the, all the nitty gritty of the nerves. Now, I normally talk about 3 things to think about: the head, the heart and the hands. The head is all about the mindset and the state that you're in. The heart is about the passion and where to come from behind that. And the hands is what you physically do. So with your permission, I'm going to share these tips for you now, and I really hope they serve you. And based on the videos that I've seen that the lady has shared, I'll keep her anonymous, but I'll kind of give feedback, because the feedback isn't just for her, it's for a lot more people than just her. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. So somebody also put Mark, wow, that took my breath away. So your thing that you want to own is to break the stigma of men not being able to express their emotions. That is so powerful. You know, we're coming up to International Women's Day, where the focus for a day kind of gets switched off the men a little bit and back, and onto the ladies. But, both men and women, and specifically men, it's such an important thing. So thank you for voicing that, and I look forward to seeing how you share that message. Tessa says we're evolving at different levels. Good to remember. Absolutely true. So if you go down the page, you'll see the post. It's Lisa Sasovich, but you'll see the post, not only just a few posts down. It was posted on Tuesday. There's a picture of the 108, but also in the group, the Visibility Vibes Tribe. If you go into that group, and you are already in that group, if you search in the search bar for Tuesday tip, not only will you see 3 of the tips that I gave about all sorts of different things on Tuesday, you also see tips from other vibers. And if you're like, oh man, it's Thursday, I wish I'd seen that, then go in, do a Facebook Live, write a post, put the hashtag Tuesday tip, and then you can share away there. Okay, cool in the game. Okay, so here are a couple of things. So if you want to get the speaking piece down, whether you're a paid speaker, like keynote speaker, which I now do a mixture of 2, so paid speaking and also speaking to audiences for free, and sometimes offering the next best step for that particular audience too. Sometimes selling, but sometimes offering that. But here's what to do if you go to hit the record button on a video and you find yourself acting like a complete stranger to yourself. So based on a couple of things, a lot of the time when we go to speak to camera, and I remember the first few times that I had to do a video, I was a shadow of my former self. I didn't smile. I wasn't able to articulate. I felt like I needed copious amounts of notes. And I'm just going to show you. Those are the notes for this Facebook Live. Okay. And the first one says, Mrs. Princess Harry. Just to remind me of where my start point is. And the next are just like one or single words, just so that I can remember these points and look to you. So here's a little tip for you. I've written this on a Post-it note. If you're worried that you're going to keep looking down or worried that you're going to read, what you do is you get your Post-it note or your sticky note. You write 3 words, because sometimes then you can go into overload, but 3 words that will remind you of what you need to say on the same side as the stickiness. And then what you do is you use that sticky and you stick it to the back of your camera. So what actually happens is you can look at your camera like this, look people in the eye, stick it behind the camera, and remember what you've got to say. So instead of doing this and looking at your notes, you're now doing this. And you appear to be still looking at the camera. If you're really keen, you can put it right next to the eye of the camera and do that. I have got that and 11 other really great tips for if you want to enhance your video performance, so to speak. So if you'd like to see that, if you just go to the top of the page, you'll see, in fact, I'll make it easy for you. If you would like to get a copy of that, then just type video tips or video in the comments, and I'll message you the link so you can go and do that. It's free. Again, a free resource, and it will really help with the connection that you get on camera. So when I watched this pitch, there were a couple of things that I really wanted to be able to share as feedback. And these pieces of feedback will be great for anyone who's looking at doing this. So the first piece is this. Start really strong with a question. Start really strong with a question. I can see that some of you are still putting your what you want to share, so I'll go back and read those. So have something that starts with a definite start point. If you're doing a Facebook Live, don't do the whole, hi, I'm just going to wait for a few minutes for people to join, because what that actually conveys is that you're not confident, that you're underconfident. Whereas when I started this, I actually wanted to start and say, inspired by Mrs. Princess, Princess Harry, and then I forgot Meghan's name, and then I kind of went a bit fuzzy, which happens to us all, because I didn't actually write her name down. I didn't think I'd need to. But here's the thing. Start with a question, or start with something that draws people into your subject. So Diane said that one of her beliefs is that she loves to speak, she would love to speak about her struggle with depression and how she grew through it. Definitely check Lisa out for that. Lisa isn't somebody that that teaches or trains just people who train business staff. When I worked with her, there were people that were like horse whisperers. There was somebody that did something with children, looked after animals, so all sorts of really big and very diverse things. So if I was Diane and I was about to make a video, let's say I'm going to make a 60-second video, I'd say something like, I wouldn't even start with, hi, my name's Diane. I'd start with something like, have you ever struggled with feeling depressed and felt like you're the only person on the planet that felt like you did? Have you ever, or do you still live with depression and you wave through it, but you're still, you don't know when it's going to end. You don't know when you are going to feel differently, and you just want to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that kind of thing. So the reason to start with that is it shows and it demonstrates that you understand what the person is going through right now. There's no point starting with banish depression for good and feel really great and everything else like that, because it feels like too much of a stretch for somebody who's in that predicament, and also it's not meeting them where they are. So if somebody's got a sick child, you could say to them, wouldn't it be great if your children were never sick? Or you could say something, sleepless nights, having to carry them through the house and put them into the bed with you, getting 2 hours sleep because they're not well, looking into their little eyes while they're in pain, or they're not feeling well, that kind of thing. You're making that connection. So however or whatever it is you do, make sure that first up you make that connection. And why not have a practice? If you'd like to practice this, go over to the Visibility Vibes tribe. Your friends and family will not know that you're doing that. Only the other people in the group will. So it's a good chance for you to introduce yourself and let people know about what you do, and just say, Jenny said, I'm going to practice. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so that's the first thing. the very first thing before you've done any of this is get into the right state of mind. I once made a very big complaint on a webinar many years ago. It was about copywriting, and I went to ask my question, and I said, I started off my question with, I really hate copywriting. I find it so difficult, really challenging. I look at the page and it goes blank. I don't know what to put. And I spent a couple of minutes really talking about it. And the person leading the webinar said, well, may I make one suggestion for next time you need to copyright that's really going to help you? And I said, yes, what is it? And they said, don't go in thinking all of those things that you've just said to me. And I was just like, duh. So this is where the mindset piece comes in. Get yourself into the frame of mind, whether you're reminiscent of a holiday, whether you're thinking of your favourite song and you're dancing around the room, whether you're shaking it out and remembering great conversations you've had with your kids, your loved ones, your pets, or anything else like that. If you start from that place, you will convey this. I don't even have to try to do it anymore. I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about you guys getting out there and spreading your ripples far and wide. So hopefully that comes across, because there's so much I could share, so much more I could share. And that's my state of mind when doing this. And if something goes wrong, I acknowledge it. The phone's dropped off the holder before, the connection stopped. I had somebody put something really rude on a live, and I was like, thank you very much, but I will be deleting that comment. Just acknowledge whatever comes up. I've already given you a tip if you don't want to read a script, what to do. With the Post-it notes, very good tip. And to be honest with you, even like teleprompters and stuff like that, people can see you doing this, no matter how natural you think you are. If you insist on using a teleprompter, then take lessons to learn how to use a teleprompter really effectively, so people don't see you doing this, because they do. They notice it and they feel it. And the other thing is, whenever you're speaking to an audience, always go in and speak to them. What you've done, why you've done it, how you've done it is actually of no importance to your audience. But go in and start by speaking to them. And it's interesting because I noticed on YouTube, you can go live on YouTube now. And based on a video that I did in another group here on Facebook, I'm actually going to record a very short, sort of 3-minute live over on YouTube to talk about this. But talk about the things that people can expect. Talk about things that puts them into your world, and do it by this, and sort of use this as an example. Imagine in your hand you've got an invisible torch. Let me hold this. You've got an invisible torch. And you can either shine the light on yourself, or you can turn it and beam it out into the world. Your message, when you own your message, is you beaming this out into the world. So I hope that's really useful for you. Anytime you start to feel nervous, just imagine that you're holding this metaphorical torch and you're beaming it out into the world. You will feel different, you will speak differently, you will act differently, whether you're live or online. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I've read everyone's messages. I've had a look. And remember, the free resource, either from myself or Lisa, if you want to do something, some free speaking, then by all means, if you want to do free speaking, then by all means, go down, have a look, click, and get the download on that. Sorry, someone was shuffling around in the background, so I was trying to make sure that they weren't on screen. And then if what you want to do is on camera, on video, then just type video in the comments or send me a private message on here with video, and I will make sure that you've got the link to that, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. And one more thing, for those of you that like a little bit of style, on the 24th of March, I'm at the Ritz in London speaking at the lovely Jen Hall's event, along with a couple of other speakers too. And I'm going to be talking and sharing 5 really great visibility tips to get you out very quickly. And I've selected to talk about tips that I don't speak about on these lives or publicly in my audience. So if you want to be able to get yourself out there a little bit more, then I hope to see you on the 24th at the Ritz. It starts at 1 o'clock, so you can have a leisurely lane and a leisurely stroll into London. and have a few drinks. So if that's something that you would like to know more of, I'll be posting more details on this page, or just send me a message and I'll make sure that you get the information for that. Lots of love to you. Thank you for watching, and let me know how and where you own your voice, why your message matters. Lots of love. Bye for now.